Good morning, this is Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. I want to do a video this morning and covering basically the protective order hearing and how that relates to the red flag laws that are being brought up in the news today, and the story and actually motive for murder. One of the motive for murder is money, of course, and so I've written up an outline that I'm gonna go over, and it's gonna explain this and lay this out, and then then you can even research it on your own. This is an incredible injustice. I mean, this is what I call a mockery of justice. It is what's gone on here. They've just made a total joke out of the law enforcement system, and I'm gonna show you this here, and it's gonna blow you away when you see this evidence. Okay, and the title I'm gonna post is called 1800 a month for life. Okay, and just let that sink in there. Okay, and here's what happened. Okay, a few months before the murder attempt, January 28, 2012, the ex-wife sticks her finger in my chest and says, "Here's what you're going to do. You're going to pay for me an apartment, or I'm telling everybody that you're crazy." She was trying to extort money from me over the crimes going on at this house. Okay, not long, and not long after this, she admitted to this on a free will recording. This wasn't heard on at the court hearing, and sadly, which should have been, but I really don't know if it made a difference. It's just like it seems like the court hearing, and I'm gonna let you listen to this, and this is super important because this is proof right here. I mean, she admits to felony extortion.
You're the one that's gonna make money off of it. See, I can never figure out why would this all happen, and then all of a sudden, wow, who the hell is gonna follow the cash? Follow the cash. Who's gonna make money off this house being broken in? And how in the world can you know and say somebody's coming across the attic and breaking in the house and turn around and go, "Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna pay me $1,800 or $1,200 a month, or I'm going to lie about everything that I've seen and tell everybody you're crazy." You're the only one that was going to make money off the house. Does that tie you back into the people breaking the house?
No.
Conspiracy?
Absolutely not.
Huh?
Absolutely not. In your mind, yes. Obviously it does. In your mind, obviously it does.
You know, I'm standing for the outside.
No, it's absolutely not true.
I stand for
the truth of the matter is that's what Greg suggested.
It's a crime or opportunity.
Okay, so she blames it wasn't her fault. She tried to extort money from me, $1,800 a month, if I paid for an apartment for the rest of her life, right, over the crimes going on in this house. Or the threat was she would call me crazy, okay? And then she blames Greg, okay? Greg was this wealthy, super wealthy guy. Only thing I really know about him, he lived in Nebraska or somewhere like that, was her friend. He had a jet airplane, lots of cocaine, she said. And so obviously Greg, was giving her some kind of orders or whatever. But anyway, I just want you to get that she admitted to felony extortion, okay, on a recording 4 months before I'm ambushed and shot in my home. Remember, triple proof shows I wasn't shot with my gun, so somebody come to my home and shot me. Okay, I'm gonna keep on going here. This was going to cost me $1,800 a month, and I said, "Here's what I'm going to do. I'm selling this house, and this is over." I called my realtor, Jeaneen Pruitt. She's the one that found me this house, and we listed my home for sale, but I had no bidders. It came off the market just 2 months before I shot, and if I died, then she would have gotten this paid-for home, even though I had just filed for divorce 5 days before the shooting. Okay, so for the many people that want me, have asked me to sell my home, including the Homeland Security agent Paul, that recently says, "I don't know why you won't sell your home while you're living under the threat of death," and here I'm reporting multiple murders to Homeland. All these people want me to move from my home, but 2 months before I'm ambushed and shot, my home was on for sale, and we had no bidders, and why nobody wanted to bid on it? Because I have a plan that they planned on getting my home for free at the time. This is a video made by the realtor at the time, Jeaneen Pruitt, and it was the listing for my home that these records can be found.
Okay, right, because it was available.
And I think it's here. Okay, and basically it's just showing my home. This was the sales video. that was created. And like I said, my home was listed for sale 2 months before I'm ambushed and shot. And now I've got hundreds of people. I don't know why you don't move. Why don't you don't sell your home and move? Well, my home was for sale before they crippled me for life, before they cut my phone lines and shot me and left me to die in my home. But nobody wanted to buy it then. Okay. She also took my life insurance booklets when we separated, which showed her that if I just happened to die by accident, then she would get this paid for in a very special home, plus around $650,000 in assets, instead of a divorce from a 3-month marriage ended under allegations that she was working with a prostitution ring. Okay, and I'm going to show you that. My sister-in-law, Mitzi Webb, on a phone call, told me she saw these life insurance booklets with the ex-wife while they were gone. Because, see, when we separated around the end of December of 2011, she took these books without my knowledge. And you can see I had a basic accidental death benefit and a supplemental accidental death. And it added 2 times base pay. There's a $200,000 plus another $250,000. There's extra $500,000 to be added on if my murder is ruled an accident. If my death is ruled an accident. Okay. And so So I wanted to put that out there that she took them books. Okay. A few months after the murder attempt, her former boyfriend, Arthur Welch, contacts me and asked me if I thought she had anything to do with the shooting. I told him that I thought she was in Lubbock at the time, but I believe she knows who did. He then tells me, I think she had a lot to do with it from the things she said, and she threatened to have me killed too. That was the other part of that picture I was showing you right here. Now, this here is screenshots from the Facebook communications from Arthur Welch, okay, right here. And it's dated here in October 5th, 2012. Remember, I'm shot in January 2012. Do you think so-and-so had anything to do with shooting? I dated her for a short time here in Lubbock, and she threatened to have me killed. This is Arthur Welch. And then he goes on and says, well, I think she had a lot to do with it from the things she said. Okay. And we're going to find out here in a minute that she, the ex-wife, was lifelong friends with Midland detective Rosa Rodriguez, who's a key player in these crimes here. She's the one that met me at the 7-Eleven minutes after I was shot. Rosa Rodriguez did. Okay. And I'll get into that in a minute. Okay. So 2 years after the murder attempt, and remember, I got triple proof I wasn't shot with my gun. And so I'm home minding my own business. Somebody shot me, right? That makes it a murder attempt. So 2 years after the murder attempt, I get served a subpoena where she filed a protective order on me, even though I hadn't seen her or talked to her in a year and a half, and she lived 110 miles away in Lubbock. Imagine that. A protective order is supposed to protect somebody, right? And you know, and here's a person I haven't talked to in a year and a half that lives over 100 miles away filing a protective order on me. That is the facts of the case. You know, that is exactly what happened. Okay. The whole thing on this protective order, and I'm going to show you the whole thing here in a minute. The whole thing was based on 2 emails I'd sent in this year and a half. The first one said, what do you know about my mom's death? Because I suspect she knows something about that. My mom died the month before I was ambushed and shot, and I found out I was lied to about that. And then the second email had a copy of the message from Arthur Welch, her boyfriend, and I'm advising her to go talk to the FBI, you know, and so neither one of these 2 emails are threatening, but you're going to see this whole ruling is based on it because they had nothing to base it on. You know, I didn't see her, I didn't talk to her, she lived 100 miles away, and there was only 2 emails sent in a year and a half, and that's what the emails were, okay? And of course, the big thing is they were calling me crazy. And you know, her and her friend were calling me crazy. Okay. The second email, okay, here I'm going to go. Before this court hearing started, my attorney noticed that she was sitting next to, this is the ex-wife, was sitting next to Midland detective Rosa Rodriguez and visiting like they knew each other. So this question was asked in court. And to my surprise, I find out that the ex-wife and detective Rosa Rodriguez were lifelong friends, had gone to elementary and junior high together. Okay, so that was very interesting, and that come out because of the protective order here, is when I found out that Rosa Rodriguez, and Rosa Rodriguez is the one, and I'm going to say it right here next. It was Rosa Rodriguez that climbed into my truck at the 7-Eleven right after I was shot, but then claimed she wasn't there. Officer April Chandler said it was her that climbed in my truck, but I found evidence showing that they were both lying. And I'm going to show you that here in a minute. That evidence, I think I have it ready. Maybe I don't have it ready. But basically, I can tell you what it is, and I have the document showing it. But what happened was, and there is absolutely no doubt, Rosa Rodriguez climbed into my truck at the 7-Eleven. She's a Hispanic, brunette, April Chandler's a blonde, I mean, they don't even look nothing alike, and I knew who climbed in my truck at the 7-Eleven, but then when I get the police reports, they switched places and they were both lying, but it was 2 years later I figured out that Rosa Rodriguez was the lifelong friends with the ex-wife, I mean, of course, I didn't know that at the time. She was just a police officer. And actually, I was relieved thinking the police were finally going to arrest the criminals breaking my house, the ones that shot me, not even suspecting that the police were involved at that time, And the thing about, which I'll tell you about because I don't think yeah, I do. Yeah, I'll put it here. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Okay, this is a newly found police report from the night of the murder attempt. It was withheld even under subpoena for 7 years, okay? And that's a whole different story, right? But the thing is, what I'm showing is, I just went out there and I parsed it for anything to do with April Chandler, okay? And here's April Chandler, and so then here's the summary, okay? Here's where she changes location at 11:07. She's on scene at 11:17 at the hospital. Here she changed location again. But what's important about that is April Chandler is documented as being at the hospital at 11:03 filling out an emergency detention form, okay? And about me, okay, at 11:03. But if you look here, according to the long withheld police report, that she changes location 11:07, and she isn't on scene till 11:17. So she wasn't at the hospital when, according to this in this police report, numerous places I've shown where it's falsified. Lieutenant Dickey is time stamped to being inside my home when he didn't come in the front door. It's believed he come from underground. There's all kinds of, that's why they withheld it for so long. But basically it's showing here, according to the police report, that April Chandler was lying, and that is a lie, and because I'm going to show you here, here she was at the hospital at 11:03, okay, and here's what Chandler writes, okay. Mr. Webb showed paranoia to the extent that and she started to write, he shot himself, and she scribbled it out knowing that was a lie. Okay, you can see that. Okay, so it says paranoia to the extent that he caused himself to suffer a gunshot wound to the ankle. I've done other videos on that, and what I believe that is that a burglar was trapped in my guest bathroom, and that was the reference to my paranoia, is because I had tie-wired my door shut, recognizing that I was under a home invasion and that a criminal was in my house. Once again, I've been reporting burglaries to the police for over a year about these crimes going on at this house, and so I think this is what that reference was April Chandler here. His paranoia was me tie-wiring the door shut, so I caused myself. So because I'm a homeowner minding my own business under a home invasion with my life threatened, then I caused myself for somebody to shoot me. Okay, and that's basically what that was. But the point of this was the timestamps on it and the timestamps on the police report show they were lying, and that comes back to verify what I said. Rosa Rodriguez is the one that met me at the 7-Eleven. Rosa Rodriguez and April Chandler both lied, and I was showing you proof there using the police reports, showing you their inconsistencies and their lies. Okay, the ex-wife and her friend, Detective Rosa Rodriguez, both called me delusional in court, which fulfilled the extortion threat that she had made if I'd only paid that $1,800 a month. Okay, and remember, y'all listen to this. I had this transcribed, okay, and so I sent it off, the recording, and here I'm talking, you're going to pay me $1,812, I'm going to lie about everything I seen and tell everybody you're crazy, and the ex-wife says, I made a mistake, okay. She admitted to it, okay. Remember, she admitted to to it. And basically she's going to call me crazy. That was the threat. Well, okay, 2 years later, here she is, her and her friend, the ex-wife. He's very delusional. Mr. Webb seems delusional. Her and her friend are calling me crazy because I didn't pay the $1,800 a month. And the real truth, they're covering up a capital attempted murder, premeditated, because somebody come to my house and shot me. Okay. And, okay. Of course, I had the story of people breaking into my home and getting into my attic, which sounded crazy. But at this time, I didn't have the evidence of these same crimes going on at many other homes. It was after this court hearing when I heard a call on my police scanner for a homeowner reporting somebody in the attic. And then I heard another, and another, and another, and another. This is going on all over the place, and I have the recordings to prove it now, okay? And I'm going to show you that. You know, it's not take Buddy's word for it. Here I've got a video called Invasion of Homes Across America. You ought to listen to that, because that's exactly what I said. I'm listening to the police scanner, and then that's a call from Vivint. Vivint called the police. This is a Grundy guy telling me about a guy that he went in the attic and somebody's in the attic. This whole thing is very interesting. There's one in Carlsbad. Okay. I don't know if this video here has all the recordings. I can find them real quick because I know right where they're at. This is on 300 Hickory.
300 Hickory. The complainant saying she can hear someone up in the attic.
There we go. Anybody want to deny that? You know, that's not happening there? Okay, and I'm not going to listen to all of them, but I've got many proofs of this going on. It's going on all over the place, okay? So it's no longer old buddy saying people in the attic. It's going on all over the place. And remember, they shot me with burglar alarms going off in my attic, okay? And so even though I was a 28-year company man, homeowner, model citizen, when I moved down here, I volunteered to lead the United Way drive to raise money for the needy. And I never had a felony my whole life. The judge makes a ruling which granted a lifetime protective order and took away my right to own guns for life. I was a crippled survivor of a premeditated murder attempt and living under the threat of death while defenseless and disabled. And I'm gonna show you that too. And see, that goes back to your red flag laws. Red flag laws is they're going to take guns away from people like me that never committed a crime. Okay, and in this case. And I'm going to show you some of the death threats I've got after surviving a murder attempt. Lance Eggleston, remember, we know who you are. We know where you sleep. We have access to your residence all times. No one will ever believe your story. We will come again. You will be silenced, not if, but when. And I write back and say, when are you going to murder me, Lance? And I took a print screen of that, and I sent it to the chief of police, the last chief of police here. These are just some other ones I compiled together, Eric Camille here. Fast forward 2 weeks, and Buddy Webb's nowhere to be seen. Nobody's been heard from him, okay? Here's another one, Kathy Backus, and he's going to wind up being in a hole. Randy Wallace, they going to get the snitch, right? And on and on and on, okay? Here, let me show you some more of them, okay? Joe Mireless, you need to move. It's all about moving because this home is rigged, has an underground facility by it, and they want me to move out. And they left me defenseless living under a death threat. Okay, and so there's two options. One is I move, or two, I see God early. That's pretty clear, right? Yeah. Do y'all understand what he's saying there, right? They're going to murder me if I don't sell my home and move. And Shannon Jeter from Lovington, which is I'm gonna hit on Lovington in a minute because we got a missing girl here out of Midland that's from Lovington, okay? And so Shannon Jeter from Lovington, near my hometown of Hobbs, New Mexico, he's telling me, he says, you need to be careful because the cops, they can kill you and get away with it. So he's insinuating it was cops that shot me. And that's very, very possible it was cops or the would-be killers here, okay? Which I would think they're probably the same ones at that oil show party where the young girl was murdered, that my friend, you know that story, okay? And so basically he's telling me you need to stop publicizing their business, their being the cops' business. Stop publicizing the cops' business, okay? And then you go buy you another home, okay? And once again, it's all about the home, right? It's property, my lifetime savings, the ranch. They're trying to steal property, real estate. It's fraud. It's theft, okay? Okay, and it's a scary thing to think you can lose your right to defend yourself after surviving a murder attempt because a lie is coming from a person alleged to be involved in it, right? Remember, Arthur Welch said she is, okay? A copy of the conversation from Arthur Welch, ex-wife's boyfriend, was submitted in court and it was ignored. In addition, we also subpoenaed her psychiatric records from her doctor in Odessa. She had threatened suicide in December 2011, and the police were called, and they are the ones that demanded she go see him. I went with her, okay? I was married to her. And he reminded her, with me sitting there, about the time with the bikers, and then about the time how she felt guilty for getting her daughter involved in prostitution, okay? I tried to bring this up in court because it seems important, right? But the district attorney, Jewett, stopped me. Object, we don't want the truth coming out. That's what the district attorney was saying. She's going, oh no, judge, don't let the truth come out. And so then the ex-wife took my life insurance booklets a couple of weeks before the murder attempt, which showed that if her lifelong friend, Detective Rosa Rodriguez, would rule my murder an accident, then she would get an additional $500,000 with a very important rigged home instead of getting nothing from the divorce. My sister-in-law, Mitzi Webb, and I hit that at the beginning, okay? And I'm going to finish this up, is that after I survived the murder, crawled out and survived it, barely survived, okay? And then a few months later, the divorce was made final in court, okay? I come home and I get a phone call on my company cell phone, 432-209-6494, check the records, okay, from the ex-wife, and she asked me if I had switched the beneficiaries over. Now, why would she ask that? Don't you think that's interesting, right? Okay, being that she's primary beneficiary, because if I just happened to die that day, she'd get a paid-for home and $650,000, and she's alleged to be involved in the shooting. Some people have suggested that if I hadn't called the life insurance company, then I would have died by accident that day. And so I just wanted to go over, and then the last thing, because this is such an injustice, I appealed this case to the Court of Appeals, cashed out my 401k and paid for it. And this is online. You can go to legal here, just Google it, and you're going to see this case, and you're going to see this ruling. And here's the current district attorney was there, okay, and I want you to look at and I have the entire transcript of this hearing. Now I gave you the facts. Remember, here's somebody alleged to be involved in a shooting that lived 100 miles away. They hadn't seen to or talked to in a year and a half. Files a protective order on me, and I lose my right to own guns for life. That's what happened. They can sit here and put all this crap all they want, but she's recorded on tape. Remember, Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.